How's it going, people? Welcome back to my channel. Obviously still the fucking international break. This one feels like it's been dragging, like 2 weekends gone already and another one to come before we play Newcastle next Monday. So I thought of something I can give you guys in return, because I'm nearly at that 9k mark, and listen, I appreciate every single one of you guys. So to keep the page active, to keep the channel active, I'm going to do like a top 5 this and that. So this one's going to be the top 5 players of the season so far, in my opinion. I'm going to bring out further videos towards the end of the season. Yeah, like I said, today's one's going to be about my top 5 players so far this season. It shouldn't change much, to be honest. We've got, what, 8 games left of the season, 7 games left, so it shouldn't really change much. At the end of the day, we're there challenging for top 4. We're in the top 4. We're still in the Europa League. Very difficult tie to come, but we're still in there. That's what was expected at the start of the season, from me anyway. So credit to all the players. Big credit to Unai Emery, because without his tactics and without his in-game management this season, would be in a lot of trouble, to be honest. So let's get straight into it. I chose Kolasinac at 5th, mainly because he's been one of our main attacking outlets this season. He's provided a lot of width for us, something we lacked early on in the season, and he's getting assists, and that's the modern day fullback for you. Yes, defensively he can be a liability, I'm not going to lie to you. He isn't obviously fit enough to run up and down that wing for 90 minutes, but when played in a back 5 or a wing back in a back 3, he excels in that role, whereas a back 4, he's got some work to do defensively anyway. But listen, the main reason he's in there for me is because of his attacking threat. This season we've relied a lot more on attack than defence. As you can see with the goals conceded, it's been one of our worst years, so that hasn't really changed much. Although I've got a couple defensive players in there, so I'll get into them later. But Kolasinac is in there strictly because he is a fullback that we definitely need to keep hold of. Moving forward, I'm happy to keep Kolasinac. I'm happy with his performances so far this season, and he's a tank. He's a warrior. That's something we've lacked for so many years. And he, like, if you see anytime there's little scuffles on the pitch or little issues, he's in there straight away, protecting our players, protecting the badge. Like, he is there for us. I might as well say now Guendouzi was a shout for number 5 for me. And Leno was the other shout for me, because Leno's made some great saves, saved us some vital points this season, and Guendouzi, such a young man but so mature on the pitch. So that was who I had to pick out for number 5. So credit to Leno and Guendouzi as well this season, because they just missed out on my top 5. In at number 4, new signing, TORREIRA, fan favourite already. Like, what more can you say? Like, he's come in, he's given us Arsenal fans something we've been crying out for how many years under Wenger. Like, we've needed that sort of a DMCM, robust, dynamic. He's both-footed as well. He's not like a Cazorla, but when you see him alongside Xhaka, you can see why I don't really like Xhaka, because he's so one-footed that he's predictable. And that's why a lot of his errors have led to goals, because he's so one-footed and predictable. The Premiership knows this. And with TORREIRA now both-footed, and his main attributes is just his energy and the robustness. He gets around the pitch, tackles. Yes, some of them have been reckless. Yes, he's got a few cards this season, including a red card. But again, similar to what I said with Kolasinac, TORREIRA, the energy he brings, yeah, is something we've needed for a long time. He's small. He's not he's a small figure in the middle of the park, similar to Kante. But similar to Kante, he also works so hard. Like, he's not on Kante's level, but he works so hard. And at 22, 23 years of age, he's still got a lot of improvements to make. And we've got him for a nice 3-4 years. Do you know what I mean? So let's see how he grows at the club. But in my opinion, he is our best player in the middle of the park. Although we say that him and Xhaka are a good partnership and it works better than the other partnerships, potentially I might agree with that, but it's not the best partnership. Like, we need to find a better partner for him, in my opinion. I think along with Ramsey going, we're going to find another box-to-box midfielder that might suit the whole thing a bit better. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe a Rabiot. I'm not sure who it's going to be, but at the end of the day, I think there's players out there that would suit TORREIRA suit partner in Torreira a lot better than Xhaka. Third, I'm gonna go for Sokratis. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking, what, Sokratis? Do you know how many you conceded this season? But nah, leader. That's what he's brought. He's brought leadership to the squad. He, as well as leadership, look at his defensive skills. He's just a dirty player. Like he does what he needs to do, and that's what defenders should be about. Do you know what I mean? They should be exactly like him. In terms of his physical attributes, he's up there. He's also quite fast, to be honest with you. When they done the speed test at the beginning of the season, I think he came third, faster than a lot of our players in the squad. He's getting on a bit, and adjusting to the league could have been a problem, but look how he's taking it head on. In my opinion, he's already the best centre back at the club right now. Improvements will need to be made in and around him, but the leadership he's brought, in my opinion, he's the captain of the squad. I go to every game, I see him out there, he talks, he leads by example. He like, even when we concede, he urges the players to kind of kick on and don't get their heads down, and that's something we lacked under Wenger. Like, a lot of the time we'd concede and our heads would drop, and we'd concede again and go on to lose games, or go on to draw games when we're leading 2-0. Now what's happened this season, yeah, our performances might not be as good on the eye as under Wenger, but we're a lot more robust, we're a lot more physical, we're not an easy touch no more. Yes, we've had results like 1-0 Huddersfield, or the tight games like with Watford and whatnot, but at the end of the day, Emery is building something here. Sokratis has come in and helped change that soft touch attitude that Arsenal have had. Along with Torreira, he's come in and changed that attitude, and along with Kolasinac. Like, it's funny that the first three I've mentioned in the top 5 have all brought that strength, that physical energy, the physical presence. Torreira, Sokratis and Kolasinac, they're a big part of why the soft touch aura around Arsenal has changed, in my opinion. Because like Dini said last year, you just kick us and we're out of it. And as much as us Arsenal fans hated him saying that, he wasn't too far off the truth. But we'll move on to second now. Second, you probably guessed it, but it's one of our attackers, Aubameyang. With Aubameyang, he's missed chances this season, and he has received criticism, but he scored 17 goals. He's a big part of why we are where we are in the league, and in other competitions, to be honest. He scored in the Europa League too, so he's our top scorer. How can you not be up there? Our attack has been the main reason why we are where we are, and he has been the focal point for much of the season. Started this season in attack. Yes, he's been moved out to the wing for LACAZETTE and whatnot, but he scores. Even when he got put on the bench earlier in the season, he was coming off the bench. I think he got 4 goals off the bench in 2 or 3 games. Worked his way back into the squad, and at the end of the day, credit to him. Like, although he's missed that big penalty, he followed it up with a big penalty against United, so he kept his confidence up there. And regarding strikers, that's another thing Arsenal have lacked for so many years. And yes, we've managed to get 2 within a year. We've managed to kind of, like, when you look around the league, there's not many other teams that have the options up front that we do in Aubameyang and LACAZETTE. It's just about building around them now, and that's a common theme that I've been talking about today already. Building around these players, like building around Leno, Sokratis at the back, building around Torreira in the middle, building around LACAZETTE up front. I know Aubameyang's getting on a bit, LACAZETTE's a few years younger, but it's just about building around these players. We've got 2 strikers now. I think Emery would play 2 strikers if he had the safety behind them. And when you play 2 strikers, you can expose the back line of the opposition, but at the same time you're leaving the middle of the park a bit exposed, especially in the modern day game, when the middle of the park is what wins a lot of the games these days. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I was growing up, the strike partnerships alone could win a game, so it's very different to then. Do you know what I mean? So Aubameyang, definitely in there. Since he's come to the league, goal scorer, scores goals. What more do you want? Do you know what I mean? A lot of people say tapping merchant, whatever. Listen, he scored bangers, he scored tap-ins. I don't care how he scores, as long as he scores the goals. That's the be-all and end-all for my striker. Start game, score goals, done and dusted. We look at the defence now. If the defence does their job, we've won the game. We've won the game. So yeah, Aubameyang at number 2. So that means number one, again, probably guessed it, to be honest. If you follow my channel regularly, then you'll know my favourite player at Arsenal Football Club right now is Alexander Lacazette, and he is my number one player of the season so far. No bias, but he's the all-round the best player we have in terms of ability, in terms of work rate, in terms of ambition, in terms of everything. He does a bit of everything at the end of the day. Like, he's winning headers against the Premier League centre backs. He's tough. Even though he's a small figure as well, he's tough. He can hold the ball up well, he can link up well. I think he'd make a good number 10 behind Aubameyang, but we don't obviously play with a number 10 right now, so that's a bit difficult to see. But that's the difference with him and Aubameyang. Like, Lacazette possesses a bit more to his game, well, a lot more to his game in my opinion than Aubameyang. Like, Lacazette, he's also a big game player. Like, he scored against Man City, he scored against Tottenham. I know the United goal was given as an own goal, but in my opinion that was his goal. He scored against Atletico last year. He scored against most of the big clubs, to be honest. Probably, is it Chelsea or Liverpool? Well, he hasn't scored against one of them, but yeah. Alexander Lacazette has to be player of the season for me, man. Like, he's done his thing this year. He didn't start the season as our first choice striker. He started the season on the bench. Lacazette had a lot of setbacks in 2018. First being dropped by Wenger and when we bought Aubameyang, then being dropped by France, and then starting the season at Arsenal on the bench as well, second behind Oba. Yes, I know they got a good relationship and whatnot, and they boost each other's confidence, but at the same time, there's always gonna be that feeling factor inside of you, shit, man. Like, he must prefer him. But instead, he worked hard, worked his way back into the squad, became our first choice striker again. Oba had to sit on the bench. Oba worked his way back in. They've been helping each other since. In more recent weeks and months, we've been playing them together because they're the two players of the season so far, in my opinion. And to be honest, they've had the most impact in terms of goals, definitely. Behind them two, there's not a lot of goals coming. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Lacazette's got 17 goals and 4 assists, and I think Aubameyang's got 17 goals and 4 assists, and Lacazette's got 12 goals and 7 assists or something like that. So, and I think that's just in the league. That's just in the league. So that just shows that they've been a part of a lot of our goals this season, and goals is what have got us in the top 4 so far. So they have to be the top 2. Like I said, the setbacks he had, yeah, that's what I like to see from players. I like to see them head up, focus on your football, concentrate, and then all this other stuff you can do, all this banter stuff, all this bringing out videos and having jokes and laugh, that's all fine. That's all fine as long as we can see you putting in the work. There's a lot of our players in the past that I've criticised, for example Bellerin being one, that I feel like when they do get a setback or they do receive criticism, their head goes down, they feel sorry for themselves, they dismiss it, and they don't really work on what they need to work on. Whereas Laka is a great role model as a football player. He's bounced back numerous times, he's focused. There's been times this season you can clearly see he's upset at being substituted. The next game he made sure that because the fans started booing as well, he made sure that he got everyone back on Emery's side, clapped himself off, shook Emery's hand, and that's what we need. At the end of the day, like, the atmosphere at Emirates over the past few years has been dreadful. So hearing the boos this season, that they were justified in my opinion, because I was upset he was coming off too. Like, I didn't want him to come off at certain games this season, but he has done. So that's been it. So let me know what you lot think in the comments. Who's your top 5 players of the season so far? Who do you feel that I've left out? Who do you think that I shouldn't have put in? Just let me know in the comments, and let me know other top 5 you don't want to hear me go through. Good or bad, thank you for watching. Thumbs up, share, do all of that stuff. Yeah, and tune in next time.